vinyasa practice. Today we're looking at sort of getting that reconnection through the spine. So we're looking at spinal reconnection, if you like, but also, you know, getting some space and openness through the whole of the axial skeleton. I don't know what this is. Okay, so Peppermint Patty and my new sort of Peppermint Patty-esque hairstyle are here to take you through the practice. So 60-65 minutes depending on how fast we go through it. So obviously if you haven't done vinyasa before, the usual health warning, this might not be the practice for you. Just see how you feel. Please take plenty of rests. Same goes for everyone actually. If you're looking after yourself and we're all feeling a bit under pressure, overly anxious and tired, and maybe a bit more sedentary, then just take it easy. For today's practice, you might need a belt if you usually use one. You might need a little blanket for padding, and you might need a block or a sandwich box, Tupperware box, something fairly rigid will do, just so you can put your hands on them. Okay, so we're not going to put a lot of weight on those though. So we're going to bring ourselves into practice then, starting standing today, so opening up the toes, really getting space between the toes. Just weeble around a little bit and get all four corners of the feet nicely engaged, moving forward and back between the toes and the heels, and then push down, lift up out of the front of the knees, front of the thighs, front of the pelvis, stretch up and lengthen, and roll the shoulders back a couple of times. So just separately or together, just to see if you can get that full sort of range of movement. Sometimes it takes 3, 4, 5 attempts to get this sort of full openness and movement through the shoulders. Drop the shoulders down the back, lengthen through the top of the head and tuck the chin in, and bring your hands to Namaste. So just in front of your heart center, the heart just lightly lifting to meet the thumbs. And just close your eyes here, belly breathing to start with, so your 3-stage breathing, so breathing into the belly and taking that breath up all the way to the top of the lungs, and then tucking the belly in and breathing out. Keeping that breath going for the moment, just using the belly, sucking the breath in, really sort of opening the diaphragm, getting it to really work, and breathing out. One more time. And breathing out. Then bring some awareness into your bandhas. So even with your eyes closed, tucking in Mula Bandha, pelvic floor, tucking in your lower abdominal muscles, transverse abdominis, Uddiyana Bandha. And just bringing the breath higher and wider, and just starting to breathe out deeply. So you're trying to get those much nicer in-breaths to allow for a deep exhalation. One or two more here. Start to bring in Ujjayi breath if you're happy with that, closing the soft palate of the throat to just create that nice aural hook that you can sort of latch onto in your practice and sort of really bring the focus to the breath, the body, through the Ujjayi, and obviously that heating mechanism as well. So carefully does it then. We're going to take a deep breath in, going to sweep the arms up behind us, sort of flying lady-esque, out the back, palms facing forwards. Keep the palms facing forwards as you bring the arms up and over. We're just going to cycle them over. So keep the palms sort of outwards at all times, if you see what I mean. Spin at the bottom, breathing in, opening up. You can bring the head in if you prefer. When you're ready and you've taken 3 to 5, reverse it, breathing into the front and breathing out, and then just lifting the chest. So think about the space between the pectoral muscles that you're starting to really sort of firstly extend and lengthen the spine, and then breathe chest. Think Babs. Lovely. Good old Barbara. She's always our touchstone for opening our heart centre. Lovely. Carefully does it then. We're going to move the feet slightly wider. We're really sort of focusing on the shoulders to start with. Loose clasp behind you. It can be closed or open clasp, or if you prefer to have something to hold on to, that's fine too. Scarf is fine. So just roll each shoulder open, lift the clasp away, breathing in and just lengthening. So we're lengthening and lifting, pushing the floor away and lengthening the front and the back of the body equally. So we start to lift the clasp away from the back of the body. Breathing here, stretching. It's harder than it looks, and you'll feel quite a lot of stretch going over the shoulder girdle at the top. If you want to turn it into a soft forward fold, bend the knees and really sort of make that pose buoyant through the legs. Tuck the chin in as you go over and fold. It doesn't have to be a mega fold at this point. Just keep soft, but keep lifting the tail and lengthening the spine and lengthening the hands away up to the ceiling. Again, if you're wide out here, doesn't matter. Find the hand and arm position that works for you. Soften the knees off to release the lower back. Push the floor away and lift yourself back up. Release the arms. Shake that out. Lovely. So coming into that pose, if you've moved your feet wider, just bring them back underneath your hip joints. And so you've got a nice alignment through the pelvis here. We're going to take a deep breath in now. We're going to stretch the arms up high. And we're going to bring a clasp in. So clasp whichever hand suits you. Stretch up the straight arm and lengthen that side of the body whilst keeping good contact through both feet. So what tends to happen is we sort of lean off to one side, but we lose then the engagement and the nice sort of isometric work on this side. So push down and then lengthen. So it's quite an active stretch. Keep breathing. Breathe in back to center. Swap the hands over. Stretching up, up, up and away. Keeping good focus through that side with the straight arm. Stretching up, up, up. Lovely. Deep breath in, release it off. Roll those shoulders back and forward a few times. You can separate and swim, forward and back. And you can just roll forward and back and just see if you can get some sort of, you can feel maybe some releasing. You might hear some popping or cracking. Lovely. So we're going to take our sun salutations now as normal to warm up. We'll take 4-4, no variation, so standard Surya Namaskar. So bringing the feet together, opening up the toes. Remember to take your breaks if you need to. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out, fold. Soften those knees off to start with. Breathe in, extend. And breathe out, fold. Place, stride or jump. Lower yourself through your chaturanga or your knees to your up dog. Careful with the up dog, keep the length rather than the height. And push back to your down dog. Make your adjustments. Make sure you're nicely engaged through the shoulders. You might want to just shrug them off a little bit at the front. And if you feel that you're a bit tight through the legs because we've been sitting maybe a bit more than usual, then you just want to just pedal through. So walk your dog nice and gently. Lovely. Carefully does it. Excellent. Take a deep breath in, look up, stride forward, extend, breathe out, fold. Keep the knees soft to start with. Push the floor away. Breathe in, up, and breathe out, Samastiti. Number 2, deep breath in. Breathe out, fold. Don't forget your bandhas. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out, fold, stride, other leg, or jump. Through your chaturanga to your up dog. Think about that roll of the shoulders as you come up to your up dog. And then push yourself back into your down dog. Hinging through, bandhas working all the while to really sort of support those movements.
Draw the shoulders down the back. Draw the outer thighs in, and sort of really extend. So you're sort of trying to roll almost the inner thighs out and just suck those legs up into the belly. Breathe in, look up, stride forward, extend, and breathe out, fold. Soften the knees off, push the floor away, breathe in, look up, and breathe out. Number 3, deep breath in, and breathe out. Breathe in, and breathe out. Back you go, through your chaturanga, take your time if you need to your up dog, and push back to your down dog. Settle. Make sure you're feeling good through the front end, so bring that weight over the arms, roll the shoulders away, and lift yourself carefully out. And we're just sort of opening up the armpits towards the floor, but not so much that you feel like you're sort of spinning the elbows too much. Keep breathing. Take your movements if you prefer, and then when you're ready, bring yourself through to the front. Stepping, extend, breathe out, fold. Push the floor away, breathe in, lifting up, stretching up, and breathing out. Last one of A, deep breath in. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, extend. Place, striding back through your chaturanga to your up dog. Travelling through, lengthening, and then push back into your down dog. Settle here, hold, and just let the pose develop. Think about reconnecting. So this reconnection piece, looking at reconnecting obviously through the root lock, Mula Bandha, and the source, if you did Friday's practice, the source of all life. This is it here. And looking to breathe through Mula Bandha and to really sort of think about the connection through the fingers and toes joints into the floor in all poses. So thinking about that sort of front hands, feet connecting, feet earthing, and then obviously this reconnecting, rooting through your root lock. Take a deep breath in, look up, stride or jump forwards, extend, and breathe out, fold. Breathe in, soften, bring yourself all the way back up, stretch up, and breathe out. Lovely. So into our sun salutations then, B, Surya Namaskar B. Same variations, we're not going to do anything different today. We're going to bring some movement in afterwards, so we're going straight into a sort of nice little flow sequence, straight out of the last sun salutation. So take a deep breath in, sweep up, stretch up, and breathe out, sit down. Breathe in, and then breathe out, down. Breathe in, extend, breathe out, fold. Place, stride or jump through to your chaturanga and your up dog. Use your knees if you need to, and push back to your down dog. Settle, lift the leg, sweep it through to the front. Find your warrior position, plugging in through the back leg, connecting, and then bringing that left hip round to the front. Breathe out all the way down. Place, striding back, through and up, chaturanga, up dog, and push back to your down dog. Reconnect, maybe you're a bit long, lift the leg high, and sweep it through to the front. Push down, plug in at the back, bring that hip through, and lift yourself up. Breathe out all the way down. Place, stride, through you go, up dog, to your down dog, and hold. Settle here, stay in the down dog if you can, because it's a nicely sort of connected pose and it is a rest pose. However, if it's too much for you, then feel free to come down to your knees and sit down, either into a big swan stretch, a small swan stretch, or a child pose, and make yourself very, very small. So you choose where you're comfiest. Get ready to travel forwards. So take a deep breath in, look up, spring forward to your hands, extend, and breathe out, fold. Bend the knees back through through your fierce pose. Inhalation. Draw the energy into the source of all life. Lovely. And breathe out. Excellent. Number 2. Deep breath in. And breathe out, sit. Draw the shoulder blades down the back, curl the tail under. Breathe in. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, extend. Place, stride or jump. Breathing out all the way down. Lifting yourself up and pushing yourself back. Lifting up high, sweep through to the front. Warrior 2, pressing in, push, lift and lengthen. And breathe out. All the way down. Slowing down. Breathing in up. And breathing out down. Left leg high. Through to the front. Push yourself in. Lift up. Lengthen. And breathe out. All the way down. Lifting up. And pushing back. Adjust, opening up the hands, rolling the shoulders, lifting and lengthening. Settling, softening the knees, lengthening away, and just letting those heels drop naturally to the floor. So we're not looking to force down the heels. We're looking very much to make sure that we're not straining through those calf muscles or the Achilles tendon. Breathing here. When you're ready to travel forward, deep breath in, look up, spring forward, extend. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, soften, push the floor away, up to your Utkatasana, almost forgot there. And breathe out. Number 3, deep breath in. And breathe out, fold. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out, fold, place. Stride or jump. Through your chaturanga to your up dog and pushing back to your down dog. Right leg high, open it this time if you want to and sweep it through to the front. Plug in, lift yourself up and breathing out all the way down. Place, stride back, up through your chaturanga to your down dog. Settle again, reacquaint yourself, left leg high, open if you want to, and then bring it through to the front. Plug in, and breathe out. All the way down, lifting up, and pushing back, and hold. Settling here, adjust your position, reacquaint yourself through the joints of the fingers, joints of the toes, softening the knees off, but just drawing the energy up the legs into the belly. Settling here. Apologies, having wardrobe problems today. I've not pulled the trousers up high enough. There we go, that's better. Okay, are you ready to travel through? Take a deep breath in, look up. Spring forward, extend, breathe out, fold, push the floor away, float yourself back up and breathe out. One more time, and this time I'm going to hold it in down dog as we go through into some low lunge work. Deep breath in and breathe out, fold, breathe in, extend and breathe out, fold. All the way down to your chaturanga, to your up dog. Breathing in and breathing out to your down dog. Right leg high, sweep it through, warrior 1. Push in, lift up, lengthen. And breathe out all the way down. Place, stride back. Through you go, up, travel, hop that heart through to the front. And push back. Left leg high, sweep through, plug in, lift up, open up, and breathe out all the way down. Through you go, and push back, and settle. Rest easy here, settling, lengthening. Rest down onto your knees if you need to. 2 to 3 more breaths here, and we're just going to bring a blanket or a pillow or something you've got to chock up your knees if you're on a hard surface. And when you drop that back knee in your Anjaneyasana, just make sure you're going to be okay. So keep it handy to start with. Taking a deep breath in from your down dog. Deep breath in. Going to lift the left leg high. Stretch it open, bent. Kick it away behind and plug in through the base leg. Draw the energy up that leg. And then sweep it through, breathing out, striding through. Pad up that back knee. Make sure it's happy. And you've got a nice distance now between the front leg and the back leg. So the knee at the front is above the ankle and the back leg is nicely away. Lovely. Take a deep breath in here. Going to bring ourselves into a position where we're really sort of pushing down through the feet, lifting up. There's a bit of buoyancy here. I'm going to bring our hands together behind us. So catch the hands behind, deep breath in, lengthen the front and the back of the body as we draw the hands away and sink yourself down into that pose. Breathing here. Draw the bands in, keep squaring the hips off and drawing the legs together. Breathing here. 2 more breaths. Lovely. And then carefully does it, we're going to take it into the twist. So release the arms. It's going to bring ourselves slightly up. Hands into Namaste as we lift up and lengthen and bring that right elbow across the right knee. Settle back down into your position as you then find your pose. Open and lengthen the chest as you spin around the spine, a bit like wringing out a wet towel, and stretch away. Breathing here. Lovely. Carefully does it then. Keep drawing the energy into the legs and back into the pelvis. Take a deep breath in, release it off. You're going to sweep the arms up high. Up to you whether they go wide and starred in a cactusy sort of position or really sort of expressive position, or you can have the more traditional sort of mudra. So up to you, settle yourself, lengthening the front of the body, the back of the body. There's still some buoyancy in this pose as you lengthen up, up and away. So we're looking at really creating space here as you go backwards. Deep breath in, release that off. Hands out to the front and bring the knees back together. Brief swan stretch as we stretch away. Open up the arms wide, scoop the armpits down to the floor as you sit back, tuck the chin in, rest. And then prepare, taking our vinyasa through. So we're going to take a half and then a half, effectively a full vinyasa. So bring yourself up to your down dog. Look up, spring forward to your hands, extend, breathe out, fold. Breathe in through your fierce pose, lifting yourself up and breathe out. No Utkatasana this time, deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in, extend, breathe out, fold, and then when you're ready, stride or jump through your Chaturanga to your up dog. And push back to your down dog. Lovely. So it was the left leg last time, right leg this time. Lift it high, open it up, plug in and lengthen. Really push the floor away with the base foot and then bring yourself through into that low lunge. Left mid pad too far away. Come here. So here we are, into our Anjaneyasana on this side, getting your knee nicely aligned. Nicely aligned through the pelvis as well, so you're not too wide, not too narrow. Lift up and lengthen and bring yourself up into this position. So we're going to clasp the hands behind to start with, open up the chest, lengthen and lift. So think about lengthening the front and the back of the body equally here. Doesn't matter how much you feel you're sort of back bending, we're really looking for the length here. Lengthen up Breathing, even weight between feet and knee. Breathing here, band is in, and just keep squaring off the pelvis, drawing the legs together. Release that off, bring yourself up a little bit, so bring it off the pose a little bit, and just bring yourself across. So lengthen, we're going to twist to the right, keep lengthening across, bring your hands to namaste, and stretch up and away. Probably better if I'm the other side. So keep breathing here, find your pose, and stretch away, lengthening. So twisting to the right, but finding that twist supported by the bandhas in here, and feeling you've got real length through the spine to allow the spine to twist safely. Lovely. Coming back up then, moving yourself into that expanded position again. So up to you whether you have the wide arms or the clasped arms. Find your pose, bring yourself back down, get your proportions just right, press the floor away, take the energy into the bandhas. You might lift up to start with, breathing in, drop the shoulders into position, but keep lengthening the front and the back of the body. Even weight between both legs, and bring the legs towards each other. Bandhas working hard here. Keep breathing. Breathe in over that front leg. Tuck yourself back up into your swan stretch, or straight back to your down dog. Settle into your down dog. Lengthen away. Reacquaint yourself with the fingers and toes. Deep breath in, look up. Slide or jump forward, extend, lengthen, breathe out, fold. Soften the knees off, push the knees together, draw the energy up as you drop the tail, squeeze the shoulders down, and breathe out. Breathe in, and breathe out. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out, fold. Place and stride or jump. Through you go to your up dog, and push yourself back to your down dog. Settle here for a moment. So having taken your vinyasa, take a rest if you need to. Drop to your knees. Check in with yourself. Lovely. So we're going to take the same again now. We're going to take it wider. So lifting the right leg high this time. Deep breath in. Lift that leg up, up and away. And sweep it through to the front. High heel. Bring yourself up. So again, careful of the proportions. Make sure that front knee is safe. Pushing up. And just sit down in the middle. Deep breath in. Grow the pose. Draw the arms up. Palms facing in. And drop the shoulders and scoop the armpits forward. Keep lengthening the front and the back of the body. Extend this. So we're now going to grow the pose into more of a back bend and a front extension. So keep pushing down through the back foot and lengthening backwards. Sometimes holding something between the hands is quite helpful to provide that sort of focus for the arms. So it's up to you. If you want to grab your block, you can do, and press the hands into the block or the sandwich box and lengthen backwards. You can see why they used to do it with balls. Lovely. Take a deep breath in. I'm going to spin now to the side. Take it into a warrior two. So just make sure you're nicely wide, rolling the inner thighs out, getting these feet nicely aligned, settling into position. Draw the shoulders back and down again, curl the tail under, and lift yourself up. If you need to disengage the shoulders, bring the palms up first with bent hands, bent arms even, and check in, stretch away. Lengthening here, just making sure that you're not tipping forward like I was just there, sitting yourself right in the middle. Deep breath in, draw the energy up that leg. Caution here, so just be careful with this knee that we're not going to hyperextend it. So we're going to draw the leg into the belly rather than push the knee backwards. Bring the hands up and interlace them behind the head.
Drop the shoulders and scoop the elbows and the armpits forward. Deep breath in, keep breathing, and suck the energy up that front leg like a straw as you just really engage the bandhas and extend away. This is quite strong on the lower back, so just be careful and find where you can stay. Keep breathing here. It's all about the weight transfer, it's all about the energy transfer up the legs, it's all about the bandhas, and it's all about the breath. Connect in. Lovely. Super. Breathe in, soften that front knee if you need to, and bring yourself back in. We're going to just turn now. So just turn, keep that right leg in front, turning into a walking stance. Feet now nicely apart. So we're not on a tightrope, we're definitely on train tracks. So sweep the arms forward, touch the wrists together, drop the chin, and then breathe out, folding over. So up to you, close clasp behind or reverse prayer, your call. Feel free to just have a very loose clasp if you prefer. Bring the shoulder blades together so you're opening up the chest, fanning open the heart, breathing in, extending and lengthening. Draw the energy up that front leg as you breathe out, squaring off the pelvis as you do that, just by energizing that front leg, and breathe out and fold. Stretch away, keep lifting the elbows, pressing the hands together, bring the palms in and flick the thumbs out if you can. Keep squaring off, bandhas in, keep nicely plugged through that back heel, soften it off and bring yourself back up. Lovely. Release the arms, stride forward and just take a moment in Samastiti. If you need to shake those arms out, because obviously reverse prayer is quite a big radial stretch, and if you've not been doing as much yoga, or if you've been doing more cycling, grippy stuff, or gripping a mouse, especially those little laptop mice, they're rubbish. So they're very bad because they're very small. So you need something a bit more substantial. So shake that out. That might be reasons why your wrists are feeling a bit stiff. So half vinyasa, going to take it on the other side. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out, fold. Place stride or jump through your chaturanga. Breathe in on your up dog. And breathe out on your down dog. Settle. Take a moment here. We're going to stretch up through the left leg and sweep it through to the front. So lovely. Finding that high lunge position. Going to bring the pose in. Apologies about my son banging there. Breathe in, lengthen, stretch up and lengthen. Take it into this more traditional pose with the arms high. Just be careful of that if you've got lower back issues. So the lower the arms, the lower the centre of gravity, the nicer on your back your pose will be. Keep breathing here. Keep lengthening. Grow the pose, lengthen away into more of the front stretch and the back bend. Again, don't go too far, just keep lengthening and pushing evenly through both feet. Breathing here. Breathe in, release that off, and we're going to spin into warrior two. I'm losing track of my lefts and rights today. Stretch away. I'm in the zone. Stretch away, sitting in. Breathing here. Rolling open thighs, dropping the shoulder blades, tucking them into the back ribs. Lovely. Carefully does it now. We're going to straighten, bring that leg into position. Just check that knee isn't sort of flopping in. So just roll the inner thigh out, gather, bring the arms up behind the head, drop the armpits and the elbows and scoop them forward. Lift up and lengthen. And breathe out. So we're drawing the energy up the leg, not pushing back through the front leg. Keep the bandhas nicely engaged as you hinge over. You're sliding down a wall. Carefully does it. Find where you can be balanced. Keep lengthening, keep breathing, keep drawing the energy into the bandhas, and keep that energy zipping up the leg, left leg, right leg, but particularly left leg, into the body. Lovely. Soften off. Breathe in, bring yourself back up. You're going to spin now into that walking stance. So bring yourself, shorter pose now, shorter stance. Sweep the arms forward, breathing in and breathing out. Find your clasp. If you took reverse prayer on the one side, take it on the other. Open up the pectoral muscles, draw the shoulder blades together. Lift the heart, breathe in and then breathe out. Keep squaring off and drawing the energy up the straight front leg, not locked. And as you go over, tuck the chin in and lengthen. Keep breathing, keep lengthening, keep drawing the energy in. Nice even weight between both feet and sucking the bandhas in, helping all the while. It's hard, pressing the hands together, lifting the elbows, finding where you can be comfortable in this pose. Soften it off. Deep breath in, bring yourself back up. Release the hands and stride back to Samastiti. Shake the wrists out. Lovely. Bring yourself back into Samastiti while I describe what we're going to do next. Sweep the arms up and breathe out. Drop the shoulders back and lift the heart to the thumbs. Settle yourself here for a moment. So we're going to probably need to prop our knees on this one. Nothing too big, so not a cushion probably. It's going to be a bit too wobbly, but just a little bit padding, towel, cushion, not cushion, sorry, towel or blanket. That should be fine. So just have it handy. We'll go right hand side first. So take a deep breath in, sweep up. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, extend. Place stride or jump through your chaturanga to your up dog. This is where we start to get tired maybe. So just tuck those elbows in and lift and lengthen. And then push back to your down dog. Take a moment here. You might want to widen the hands, widen the collarbones, widen the armpits and lift and lengthen through the tail as you draw the energy up the legs. Lovely. Carefully does it then. So for here we're going to take our Padikasana. So we're going to drop down onto our right knee, bring our right knee into position just underneath the hip and stretch the left leg out to the side. If you're on your just one mat, you might want to just make sure that you're turned sideways so you've got the grip of the mat underneath your feet. Just find where your leg is nicely in position with the hip joint. So not too far forward, not too far back, dropping the little toe into position. Push down, lengthen and lift. So we're looking for that lovely alignment through this side. And breathe in, lift the arm up. Drop the shoulder into position. And breathe out, lengthen. Push down through the knee. Lengthen up, up, up and out of that hip. And keep that stretch and lengthening going as you slowly grow the pose into more of a side bend. But we're not going very far. The SI joints don't have huge amounts of movement in them. So just be careful. And it doesn't have to be a big pose. Breathing here. Lovely. Then carefully, you're going to cycle it to the other side. Carefully drop yourself down onto the floor with your arm and wrist, elbow and shoulder nicely aligned. It might be easier if you've got your block or a sturdy sandwich box. If you want to go a bit higher and have a bit more lift, you can place your hand on the block. So nicely aligned here. Take a deep breath in. And we're going to lift and lengthen up into the sort of kneeling Chandrasana. Keep breathing, keep pushing through all four corners of the feet and drawing the energy up the legs. There is an optional catch here, so you can catch the foot behind and take the back bend. Listen to your gluteus medius here, particularly on the base leg. So release that off and carefully lower it down. Lovely. Swap those things over to the other side as you take your chaturanga to your up dog and push back to your down dog. Settling here. Lovely. This time we're going to take our left leg down to the floor. So knee padded up. Fantastic. And stretch the right leg out to the side. Find your proportion, so the hip directly above the knee joint on the left. And find where this leg is comfortable, coming straight out of the hip joint. Take a deep breath in, stretch up and lengthen, drop the shoulders. Bring the arm up. Think, push down and lengthen. So there's like a lifting and a lengthening and a leaving of the hip. And keep lengthening, lengthening as this pose starts to develop. Dropping the little toe into the floor and stretching up, up and away. And again, not a big range of movement, but just think about the expansion and where you can connect into the breath and the body and the earth. Breathing here. Breathe in, cycle it over. Up to you if you want to stay a bit higher in this pose. So find your position, lift up and lengthen, draw the energy into this leg and stretch up, up and away. Ardha Chandrasana. Keep breathing here, keep lengthening, keep stretching away. Option to change it into the catch. So catch the foot, arch the back, and think about the length of the pose rather than the actual sort of expansion. Keep breathing here, or the bend, I should say. Keep breathing. Release it off. Release it back down to the floor. Release your pad, chaturanga, to your up dog. And push back to your down dog. Take a rest here, settle for a moment. Think about just making sure that you're leveling up through the lower back, and particularly through the back of the pelvis. Just making sure here is just feeling nicely balanced. So those twists and those lengthens sort of move the pelvis in slightly unusual ways. So just make sure that the lower back is feeling good. Just a quick time check. Okie dokie. Okay, so carefully does it then. We're going to take it into forearm balance now. So we're heading towards Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward bow pose, and Viparita Dandasana if you know that variation. So carefully does it then. We're going to take it down to a forearm plank. So we're in our down dog, or we're down on our knees in our swan stretch if we're resting. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so we're going to bring ourselves into our forearm plank. There is going to be a Diabalasana variation here. Feel free to make sure that you keep your knees on the floor if it's better for your back and your knees. And of course you can have your blanket underneath your knees if you need extra padding and have extra bony protuberances like I do. So carefully does it then, bringing ourselves into our forearm plank. So finding the pose, knees down to start with, elbows directly under shoulder heads, and big cat paws here. So really opening them up. Roll the shoulders up, back and down, and actively push the elbows, forearms and hands into the floor. So you feel this engagement around the shoulders. Bring yourself in to your plank position. Suck in, push through all four corners of the feet, rolling the thighs and drawing the energy into the midline. Breathing here. Widen the feet if you're going to take the spin. So spinning right. Hold. Draw the waist up towards the armpits and draw the shoulders down to the waist. And carefully breathing in, spin, find your pose, and then breathing out, spin and hold. Checking in with your proportions here, cinching the waist and drawing the shoulders down towards the hips. Lovely. Carefully does it. Back to our plank, down to knees. If you need to release the back, just bend the legs. Windscreen wiper, and you just get a little release of the front of the thighs as well, just a little bit of myofascial release. And then carefully, we're going to bring ourselves back up to a swan stretch child pose. So carefully bring the hands underneath the armpits. If you want to, you can take a further Diabalasana there, knees down or knees up. You choose while we're resting. Stretching back into child pose, settling. If you need to just suck in the bandhas a little bit more here to create that space and create that sort of openness through the back. Remember, if the front is working, the reciprocal inhibition allows those muscles working in partnership to release off. So if we're really sort of concentrating on the areas we want to release and working with their opposite, their agonist and antagonist pairs. Keep breathing here. Lovely. So half vinyasa here.
If you're too hot after those Vashisthasana and the Abalasana variations, that's absolutely fine. So bring yourself into your high plank, to your Chaturanga, and this time you're on your hands, lifting up and push back to your down dog. Settle here. Lovely. Going into a pigeon pose. So pigeon with variations today. So we're going to take a deep breath in, sweep that right leg high, keep the blanket or the sandwich box handy if you need both in combination to prop yourself. Bring that knee to the right knee to right wrist, pull the fleshy bit in and see if you can just caterpillar that foot in a bit. Listening all the while to the knee, okay? Any pain inside or outside the knee, that is not good news, so just be careful with this pose. Caterpillar back with that left leg. Find yourself in the high position, so bring yourself up, lengthening, okay? It's quite strong. I've got a tiny bit of knee pain today, which might be related to a couple of injuries that I've got at the moment. So I'm just going to sit on this block and make sure that I'm happy. Carefully does it then, keeping the height in the pose, lengthening, lifting, thinking about the knees, thinking about the ankle at the back. We're going to bend the back knee. Again, not the easiest if you've got bony old knees, and see if you can catch that back foot. Okay, so balancing off, you're drawing the energy up that back leg into the hip, and there is a flourish at the front if you prefer. You can go over to catch if you know that's as far as you can go. Keep breathing here. Keep thinking about lengthening. Lovely. Lower that leg down as you really just level off those hips and carefully bring yourself down towards the floor. So either to forearms, keep that pelvis nicely balanced, or going a bit further. So the band is engaged here, but we're drawing them in to really increase the stretch through the bottom. Lovely. Bring yourself back up onto your hands, not as high as the first one. Roll the shoulders back and down, tuck the back toes under as you stride back to your high plank, your Chaturanga to your up dog. Just notice what's going on in the knee, and then push back to your down dog. Settle for a moment here into your dog, make your adjustments, and then when you're ready, the opposite leg high, sweeping up and away, and then bring it through to the front. Push that calf in, caterpillar through, find where you can be comfortable in your pigeon pose. Bringing yourself up, settling and lengthening. Just padding up the ankle now. It's going well today, isn't it? Lovely. Lifting up, lengthening, and then carefully keeping breathing. See if you can bend that back leg, catch the back foot and draw the foot in. Ultimately then, if you're able to sink down and be nicely balanced, you can draw yourself up into the full pose. Keep that pelvis working so it's square, because what tends to happen, as you saw there, and you start to twist off. So just keep drawing the energy into both legs. Release that leg off at the back, lower yourself down. So think about the length out of the spine, lower yourself down to the floor, settling here, breathing. Draw the energy into the bandhas and go even lower if you can. Thinking about what's happening through the pelvis and paying close attention to this knee. Breathing here. Lovely. Settling. Carefully does it. Bring yourself slowly back up onto the hands. Tuck the back toes under, bring yourself to your high plank, to your Chaturanga, to your up dog. Press the feet in evenly here to level up and push back into your down dog. Take a moment. If you need to rest down into swan stretch child pose, feel free, or just reacquaint yourself with all four corners, or if you count the bum, 5 corners of your down dog. So both hands, both feet, drawing the energy up the legs and lengthening out of the spine through the tail. Lovely. So bringing ourselves up to a final standing pose then. So we're going to jump through to the front. Look up, jump through, lengthen, breathe out, fold. Bringing yourself up into a dancer, Natarajasana. So again here, it's going to be the catch that's important. So it's up to you. If you want to come in from above, come in from above, okay? So you can come in from below, where you draw the foot back and bring yourself up, or come up, find your pose, find your Samastihiti, lengthen, balance, catch the foot and bring on the quad stretch to start with. Draw the energy in and lengthen through the front of the pelvis. Open up that top shoulder, so the shoulder that's catching the foot. Once you've caught the foot, draw the energy back into that shoulder, slide the knee away, and it's about length here. So we're looking for length and level, So not so much about tipping forward, although eventually that happens. The more you lengthen, the more you start to sort of, you can lower into it. But feel happy where you can hold this pose for 5 breaths. Doesn't have to be mega, as long as it's nicely aligned. Breathing here. If you need a bit of balance or you need a bit of drishti work, just focus on something out into the middle distance. Sometimes the fingers can help as well. Carefully release it off. Take a deep breath in, lift up. Breathe out, fold, soft Uttanasana, just to reset the hips. Bring yourself all the way back up. Onto the other side. If you brought yourself through from the bottom, you can go back into your Uttanasana, bring yourself up. Sorry, I missed that cue. And then carefully, otherwise from standing, push the foot down, catch the foot. Bring the knees together, draw the heel to the bottom, open up the front of the pelvis as you open up this shoulder and the pectoral muscle here. Take a deep breath in, banders in. There's a buoyancy here, pushing the floor away and lengthen away. So it's about the length and the level. So keep breathing here. This foot is really dodgy at the moment. It's not the one I've actually injured, hilariously. Keep breathing here. 5 breaths, longer if you can. Lovely. Draw it out, release it off. Excellent. Breathing yourself then into your Samastihiti and over into your Uttanasana. Going down to a seated position. Breathe in. Breathe out. Through your half vinyasa to your seated position, or just have a nice sit down. Push yourself back, and then when you're ready, step or jump through to seated. So, taking a Mudichyasana variation here. So, we're going to bring the right leg in, push that right leg out to the side, take a deep breath in. We're going to take the spin into the hip. So, wrap the arm around, opposite arm to opposite knee, draw the straight leg into the body, banders in as you root down through those sit bones and lengthen up. Spin out behind you and cross the arm across. Doesn't have to be elaborate. Take a deep breath in, suck those banders in, check that knee isn't collapsing across the body. Breathing here. Lovely. Alternative version here is to move the foot out and bring the hand underneath. So just take that variation, roll the shoulder, and it's a bit harder. Draw the foot then in together as you stretch away. This time you don't have to prop yourself quite so much. You've got a bit more of energy through this arm to lift up and lengthen. So arm is straight out the back. Lovely. Release that off. Bring the leg into position a bit further forward. I'm just going to take the twist. So we're going to keep that leg, keep legs balanced through the floor. Going to stretch out through the left hand, fingers facing backwards, and breathe out, open and lengthen. So you go back into a slight back bend, quite elaborate. Breathe in, release it off. Swap sides, swap the legs over, left leg in this time.
Draw the energy in, standard Mudryasana, draw the right leg in, sitting up nice and tall, catch around, sit up and lengthen, and adjust your pose. Check that knee isn't flapping about, and draw the energy up, up, and in. Breathing here, rooting through the sit bones, lengthening through the top of the head. Release that off, move the foot forward as you catch the arm underneath. Bring the foot back in, bring the arm up, up, open the shoulders and lift up and spin. So you can hang on a little bit more and move the hand off the floor behind you, stretching away. If I spin, you might be able to see that a bit more effectively. Then carefully does it. Release the arm, sweep the other arm out behind you, fingers facing backwards. Deep breath in, draw the right leg in as you push the left leg into the floor. And breathe in, expand into a back bend. You can adjust the elbow if you prefer. I like to sort of keep it quite straight and open through the chest. Otherwise you can sort of slightly collapse and go back a little bit. See what suits you. Release that off. So, half vinyasa at this point. Cross the legs, roll through, place the hands, stride or jump through your chaturanga to your up dog. And push back to your down dog. So to start with then our Dhanurasana before we go into our Urdhva Dhanurasana. So we're lying on our fronts in our locust position. We're going to bring ourselves, make sure I'm padded underneath. Here we go. So carefully does it then. I'm going to catch the hands behind. So straightforward catch to start with. Same hand, same foot. Open the knees a bit if you need to. Roll the shoulders open, draw the shoulder blades together. Looking at the floor. Just line up and bring those thighs parallel as you lengthen. Push the feet into the hands and open up the chest. Breathing here, start to lift and lengthen. Lift and lengthen. Breathing, lengthening. It's hard to talk in this one. And release it off. Take your standard back release. Swan stretch or flip over to Upanasana if that's better for you. So variation here then, I'm going to take crossed hands. Now this isn't very easy, okay? It might depend on how long your arms are. So you can always repeat the first one again if this one isn't for you. So we're going to cross over to the other hand, cross over to the other foot. Whoa, there we are. Actually it's easier that way on top, isn't it? There we go. Catching in. Try and bring the knees back together, roll the shoulders open, same rules apply as you lift up. I find this one easier, I don't know why. Keep breathing and just try and stop those knees from flying out. Lovely. Release that off and then swan stretch or child pose. So you can go back into a swan stretch. We're all going to meet in a down dog in a second, so whichever variation of back release you're doing now, carefully bring yourself back into a down dog. So settle yourself here, take it easy. Lovely. So from here then we're going to flip it over into our Urdhva Dhanurasana. So it's up to you. You can flip over from your down dog if you've got space to move onto a surface that's not going to give way or let you slide. Okay, you need to be safe. Otherwise, obviously, in the more traditional variations going into this pose, bringing yourself into more of a bridge pose. Okay, so finding your position, your ideal foot position, bearing in mind that your heels might fly up to start with. Okay, and then we're going to bring the hands into position. So I'm going to need to perform it slightly differently, I think, today. Here we go. Okay. So hands underneath the armpits with the fingers facing forwards. Yes, the elbows will flop out to start with. Acquaint your fingers with the floor, all of them. Try and get the palm down and draw the elbows in and then the shoulders down. Lift the head up and tuck the chin in. Bring the feet into position. Just check you're not going to slide. Again, reacquaint all four corners. So we're rooting down. Again, if you've got to this position and this is enough, great. Take a deep breath in. Banders in. Option here to lift the undercarriage up and settle.
Okay, or alternatively, you can bring yourself onto your head. Carefully does it now, okay? So careful, and then when you're ready, you can bring yourself up into the full pose. So bring yourself up and draw the energy in to the center line. Move around if you're comfortable. I haven't got the room. And carefully lower yourself down when you're ready. Hug your knees into your chest. Fantastic. So carefully does it then. Going to bring ourselves into a cat-cow position. So you can take your time with that inversion. Okay, bring yourself into your Dhanurasana, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Take your time. And then when you're ready, we're going to just take some releasing of the lower back. So, when you're ready, find your cat-cow position. Just going to take a quick drink. So then, taking some cat-cow flexions, finding where you can be nicely comfortable with your knees padded up. Align yourself. Roll the shoulders back and down. You don't have to bring the head in, and just find the cat-cow flexions that work for you. And it might be that it's not just a flexion and extension of the spine. You might want to take some slalom cat at this point as well to really sort of just get into the outer hips. Whatever you're doing, you're paying attention to where you're touching the floor, using that natural resistance of the floor and of gravity, pushing in, lengthening, extending, opening. Use the breath, rooting down where you can, using your root lock, your Mula Bandha, to it really sort of get to the parts that this pose doesn't normally reach. So we don't usually do this towards the end of the practice. So we're going to really see if we can use these warm muscles. Use this sort of very good Ujjayi breath we've got going on to really sort of get to just the edges of this pose for us. And that edge is going to be different for everyone, so just take your time. Notice what your body's telling you and work with what you've got at the moment. Lovely. So when you're ready, carefully does it. We're just going to shorten. So instead of stretching each arm and leg out and holding, we're going to just sort of push them out to the same side and lengthen one side of the body. So usually we take opposites, but this time they're swiveling out to the same side. So if I turn this way, you see what I mean. I'm going to drop out, opposite hand, opposite arm, and this time they're going to go over to the same side and open one hip and the side of the body. Releasing that off and stretching out. So, 2 more poses to go. There is an option here if you've got more time, pause the video and you can take Paschimottanasana forward fold to release the back. And you might need to do that anyway before we take these next 2 poses. And also you can take a shoulder stand. So if you've got the time for that. If you'd like to, we're going to go and take our Uttana Padasana, before that our fish pose. So we're going to bring ourselves into position lying down. So that might be from a down dog as your lower back opener. Settling yourself, take a deep breath and bring yourself through to seated. So then, into your fish pose. Lowering yourself down. Activating the legs. Activating the arms. Draw the shoulders back and down. And draw the hands down to the bottom. Bring yourself up onto your elbows. And just fan open, adjust, and lower yourself down. Keep nice and active here. Heart popping open, legs really active, and then option to take the legs and the hands and extend away. Keep breathing here. Carefully releasing off. Take the weight out of the head before you move it. Look up to strengthen the front of the neck and release yourself down. Lovely. One last release of the lower back then. Carefully does it. So cross the legs, roll over, carefully into a kneeling chaturanga. So knees down, kneeling plank, lower yourself down, stretch and slide the shoulders away, lift the legs, lengthen up and away, and then breathe out into your swan stretch. Wide leg this time. So toes together, knees wide, and stretch away. Widening the collarbones. If you need to bring the arms in, bring the arms in. You can also rest your head on a block if you need to. If you need to bring it up a little bit, bring it up, rest here. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring yourself into a Shavasana position. So making sure that your lower back is happening. You can drop in your Yoga Mudrasana here if you like. A nice forward, cross-legged forward fold sometimes helps release the back. Don't forget to do both sides. And when you're ready, relaxing yourself down for Shavasana. So coming up to a 65, 66 minute class. So we'll aim for 70 minutes, and I think if you can stay in Shavasana for longer, then please do. What a delight. Some people may have got more time, and you can just tune into yourself, tune into your body, into your breathing. So when you're ready and relaxed, taking your time, tuning into your out-breath, taking a light pause between the out-breath and the in-breath, nothing forced and not for too long. We don't want to create that sense of urgency or anxiety in the body, so we just want to bring focus to those stages of the breath. With each long out-breath, you're going to just let the body go deeply into the floor. Breathing into those areas of tension that are still remaining. And you can imagine those muscles just relaxing, tendons, ligaments just releasing for a moment, just letting go. So leave your camera or your phone behind and step outside into nature. Watch for fleeting natural features. Birds, rainbows, clouds. Reconnect to them and let them come, let them go, but feel their touch remaining. Take a slow walk beside a river just to be with it. Look for signs of nature, even in the most urban of environments. Hunt for flowers and insects in the cracks of the paving. Light a fire at night in your garden and watch the stars.
get soil under your fingernails. Cultivate your relationship with the earth. Grow a plant from seed. If you're able to stay, stay for longer. Otherwise, reconnect yourself with how your body is feeling against the floor and against the air. Tuning into the sounds you can hear in the room. Maybe you can hear the sounds of nature where you are. Take your time coming out of your Shavasana today. Connect in with yourself lovingly before you start to move. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you. And namaste.